We're live. I gotta figure out where to set you guys while we get set up. Yeah, don't be warm.
Snappy.
If you're joining in, make sure you say hello. Caitlin's gonna run the comment section. If you want to be a moderator, we'll volunteer you to be a moderator.
Sitting and waiting.
Yeah. Welcome, 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 all 4 of you. We'll wait till a few more people get on here. I know it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Howdy, Sandy, Williams, Music Gene, Crippling Homestead. How you guys doing? Keith, Katernick's Corner. Katernick's Corner. Is that you, Terry? Patrick, what's up, David? Jake's Homestead, howdy. Carissa from Wellington. Yeah, it's so hot. We're gonna go stand in the sun and plan bee suits. Hey, Terry from Katernick's Corner. Glad you found me. You're a huge inspiration to all of us Katernick's quail owners. Everybody asks me where I get my, or how I build my quail towers, and I always send them your way, so thanks for doing what you're doing over there at Katernick's Corner. You ever watch Katernick's Corner?
Yeah.
Even Jorge watches Katernick's Corner. He was a big quail guy.
One of the OGs.
He is one of the OGs. Watched a lot of his videos over the years. Everybody wonders how I built my quail towers. Like, just go watch Terry over at Katernick's Corner. He'll tell you. He does a better job at it than I want to do it. So Jorge's getting the smoker going. We're going to get into all 8 of our hives, kind of check on them, see how the honey's doing. And I don't think we're going to pull any today. We usually wait till July. What's up, Joe from Central New York? Nelson's Hatchery. Hello, Nelson's Hatchery. Here comes the trolls. Snake X, what's up from Minnesota? Hey, George. Hey, George. Carissa says thanks for all your pictures of the flowers in the pastures. Carissa, Muth.
He's the one that came to Butcher Day.
He's the one that came to Butcher Day. Carissa's watching. Timothy from Terrell, Texas. Yeah, don't light me on fire. There's Jorge back here. Playing with fire.
Always playing with fire.
Yeah. That's his motto of life, just playing with fire.
Burn it down.
Just burn it down.
Smoke them if you got them, is the logo.
User0 asked a question about hatching. If you set them at 3 o'clock, you don't have to be like within the hour, just within the day of when you put them into lockdown. So you don't have to be at like 3 o'clock exactly 18 days later. You can be within 24 hours of that 18 days. Philip, what's up? Ireland. Good luck, Nelson, with your hatch. if you got any if you got any chicken questions or bee questions, Caitlin's gonna be kind of moderating here while we get George and I get dived into the beehives. We'll do our best to answer as we go. I checked my swarm traps this morning. I didn't have anything, but I do have another apiary. If you're watching my videos, tomorrow's video, yeah, we went to the auction. Another auction video tomorrow, or coming out tomorrow at 5. I bought some chicks that I've always wanted to get, some rare chicks, and then I bought some more incubators, which is just what I needed. And I bought some incubators to try out, to do reviews on for you guys. One that's a really expensive one, and one that's a really antique one. And then I started that video over in my other apiary, not here at the house. So you'll get to see how I have that set up. My dad's watching. What's up, Dad and Mom? Caturnix, or Terry over at Caturnix asked how many days on pheasants. I believe it's 25 off the top of my head. So 22 to lock down, 25 to hatch. I print off, I go to GQF's website, or just Google GQF's hatching chart and just print off the paper that says every species. It'll tell you the temperature, the humidity, the days to lock down, or the days of rotating, and the days to hatch. So I just print that off and stick it in my brooder room. So if I ever need to hatch anything, I can just look on it. It doesn't have button quail on there, so I handwrite that on there, but that way I always have it there right by my incubators. Barbie Honey, welcome. Yeah, Nelson said 25 to 30. I can't remember if it's 25 or 28. But yeah, Wishful Dreamer, thanks for watching. Are we ready? Well, you're gonna have to come over. No. We're gonna do our best without overheating the phone.
What?
Yeah, let's just move the hives to the shade. All right.
Oh, sorry. Covered you guys up. That's the little.
Put that tiny little swarm in.
Yeah.
Let's start at the end there. See if we might need to.
I have 2 big swarms over there in that yard, in Langstroth boxes.
Where?
On fires. I told you I've caught swarms. I told you to watch your dang YouTube videos, but you ain't got time for that, so you don't know what's going on out here.
I'm too busy making live YouTube videos.
Where nobody watches. Yeah, all 2 people watching.
Won't it save?
What's?
Can't people watch it later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll save. Sorry, guys. I'm giving you a show here. I was looking. It's 94 out here.
Dance or song. Theme song.
As good as we are, you don't need theme songs.
Oh, you need theme song, bro.
Cost for a hive, Jorge.
Depends on the person. Do I know him?
It's Carissa. He said he has to look at your place first, and then he can let you know if your place would be good for bees or not. I'm gonna go over here in the shade. Nah, it's okay. Yeah, where's the shade canopy, guys?
Jorge only services properties that have, or adequate properties. He doesn't just sell boxes. He wants to sell boxes to farms that have adequate forage, and in the long run, beekeeping.
So the challenge here is with bees is that
I might have to come over here. Can you guys even hear them talking? Let me know. I can't see anything.
this is gonna sound bad, but I go look at 2 or 3 new places to look at bees to see if we could have bees every week. Hey, look at that. And 9 out of 10 places don't have the water, don't have the blooms. They're just not fit to have bees. So in those cases, you could still have bees, but then you would need to do a lot of inputs. So that's just something we don't do.
Our operation is a minimal input operation, or minimum is in like none. Because we don't feed, we don't pollen, substitute, we don't.
It becomes challenging. You can't be. It's hard to be successful when you don't have the right ingredients. So if you want to have bees, you need to start out with.
I'll put my hood up.
Oh yeah.
Oh. I gotta set you guys down a second.
We had one, didn't we?
Oh, there's Aggie.
Most of these are probably out right now.
Okay, how to put my hood up. Luke won't let me get goats, so we won't have goats around the hives. Maybe someday.
What? You want goats?
I want goats. Okay, I'm gonna step back because the phone's getting hot. Yeah, we should let the geese out. They're right over here, so they wouldn't be too far away. We were originally going to like put railroad ties around here and rock it, and so it was really nice and we wouldn't have to worry about weeds. But we don't know if this is where our hives will stay long term, so we didn't want to invest a bunch of time and money into fixing this up if this isn't where they're gonna stay. And if you've watched any of our, well, I guess one of our most recent, the update video, we talked about that we might potentially move the hives out to property close to us that has more food for them. So for now, that's just gonna be weedy over here. So far, the bees are looking good. Once we get down a little bit farther to our bigger hives, I'll go over so you can see a little bit better. But the phone's getting hot right now, so try to stay in the shade. Ashley, your husband won't let you get goats either. Dang husbands. I told Luke maybe someday when I'm home full time, then I could get goats because I could take care of them and he wouldn't have to worry about it. Welcome from Ohio. Yeah, goats would be good to help in the woods. We actually use our American guinea hogs. So as you can tell, there's like nothing in here. What? Oh, I'm going over here. Oh, there she is.
There's our queen for this hive, green dot.
Green dot's this year, right? Last year.
Last year. She's covering the frames all right. This was another small swarm we caught a couple weeks ago. swarms are crucial, but they just take a long time to build when they don't have the numbers. We'll see here if we have an abundance of brood comb and one of these others, we might add some frames of brood to help essentially almost double their numbers in a few days once they start hatching. Right down in here.
Okay, so back over here while they're doing that. But anyway, we had our feeder hogs, our American guinea hogs that we took to butcher a couple weeks ago. They were in here, so they cleared out all this brush really well for us. So we rotate our pigs in all of the wooded areas by our house to help manage with the growth and all of that. So hopefully this fall we can get in here with a skid steer and move a bunch of junk around and get rid of stuff and burn a bunch of limbs and everything. When we bought the farm, it had been a rental for a few years prior to us purchasing it, and so no one ever really cared about taking care of especially the wooded areas, and so they're just overgrown and lots of dead trees falling and stuff. And so that's one of our big projects that we want to do eventually, is to just clear everything out. Yeah, there's a city close to us that actually just started using the goats to clear out brush areas, which I think is actually really cool. So it's pretty fun. Welcome from Italy. That's awesome. Welcome from Pennsylvania. Looks like they're out spraying today. We're still in wheat harvest here, so it's a little bit crazy. Everybody's trying to cut wheat and spray and get everything planted, especially since the 4th of July is coming up. Everybody tries to take a day off, or at least a couple hours off, to enjoy the holiday around here. Okay, I'm coming over. There she is.
Another green queen.
They're doing good.
Yeah, good brood pattern.
Yeah. Good job. Good job, ladies. No peacocks here. No peacocks will ever live here. We have 42 people watching.
Hot dang.
Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Risky business, no gloves on. Gonna go over here now. Stand. Remember what happened last time you didn't wear gloves? Okay, I'm gonna come up here. He said these girls are packed, so we're gonna see what we got in here. You can't see the comments, sorry guys.
So these last 3 boxes are all small swarms. These are some of our first swarms we caught, which are a lot bigger. This one we didn't find this stuff. This one was the trap out.
Oh.
Big swarm. Holy cow. Collapsed frame cut frames here. They got so dang heavy.
This is a big one. You can just hear them. Can you guys hear them buzzing in there?
They're fanning nectar down.
Okay, I'm gonna step back so I can read the comments in the shade. Oh, baby bee.
Just came out of the
See
comb.
how
Oh, it's, you gotta put it in. Oh no, she gone.
female worker baby bee. They can't sting when they're just born. They need a couple of days to.
Oh yeah, she's still fuzzy.
Yeah, she just literally came out. She's looking for work.
Okay, I'm gonna step back here so I can read the comments in the shade. And then I'll go back up. Talking to someone about it. Thanks for watching all the videos. We appreciate it. Bees were something that I really wanted. And so Luke actually got me our first hive for Christmas a couple years ago. And so obviously it's kind of grown from there. But especially our hives and how we care for our bees, it's actually very enjoyable. You're not lifting a ton of boxes off of each other and all that. That's the biggest complaint I hear with people. So it's been fun to have. Definitely look forward to growing our apiary. Yeah, so Jorge takes notes every time he comes out and we go through the boxes. It has the date and information, and our boxes are numbered on the front. And so it's great. He keeps all the notes for us, and then when he comes out, then he brings them and we go through them and just make sure that we are checking things that we didn't see before. Okay. So I'm gonna come up here.
We missed the first frame. There's a lot of nectar in the back, so.
Oh, bummer.
Careful.
So
Bees being born. They have a queen, we just haven't found a marker yet.
they asked what you're doing. So just explain a little bit of what you're doing.
What we're doing is just making a kind of a health wellness check, kind of seeing where the honey flow is, kind of planning on when we're going to spin. We're also making sure the queen's laying, and she's laying in a good uniform pattern. We want to see the queen every time we get into the hives, just so we know she's alive, and that way we can keep track of how old she is, how she's doing laying wise, if we need to requeen, if we need to take a brood break for a varroa, and if we need to add frames or move frames and figure out comb progress. Not missing anything? Good.
No, good. We're gonna move that one back.
So based on what is in the frame, we'll determine where it goes in the box. If you can kind of see that, hopefully. Oh, they said they can't hear you.
Can't hear us.
Can you hear me talking?
We probably don't want to take any brood from these because these are starting to make honey, so if anything we would take the queen away. To give them a brood break, and then they'll be able to pack away honey.
You see her on that side?
No, not yet. But all these have been capped, like fully capped, so I wouldn't. You would expect her to see her on a frame where like there's room for her to lay. Does that make sense? You're not gonna find her on a frame that's got mostly all capped.
I mean, there's
Up here, they're working on their winter stores. See all the way around. There's no babies, and there's babies in the middle. So the ideal frame is you've got honey all the way around, and then a pollen band, and then a big basketball size worth of babies, which is why we do the frames this way. They overwinter much better.
Well, we all have hoods on, so that's probably why the sound is a little bit. They said you guys sound muffled, but I sound okay.
Yeah, so we'll speak up a little better. Hopefully you guys can hear us.
Look at that little native bee. There's that little native pollinator coming in here to steal. You see her? No. She's on this side of the frame. See that? We have lots of native pollinators that visit the hives when we open them to steal a quick meal.
Okay. Thanks, Patrick. They said, I'm great like always.
A lot of bees hatching. I don't see a queen.
Jake says to speak up.
Who's Jake?
Our Jake.
Why isn't he here?
Jake, why are you not here?
We need his chunkless. Chunkle power.
You don't see her?
Okay, I'm trying to catch up on comments, guys. It's hard to see through the hood. How often do the queens need replacing, and are they expensive?
Well, if you don't buy bees, then they're really cheap. We don't buy queens, so we let the bees make their own queens. George can answer when on replacement and stuff.
That's based on our varroa. If we start seeing varroa, so our treatment is, I don't want to call it natural treatments. We do a biological treatment on varroa, and what that means is we give the bees a brood break like they would have naturally. So we replace our queens sometimes twice, maybe 3 times a year based on their population to knock down the varroa mite number since we don't use chemicals. So as far as pest management in a hive, you have biological, you have mechanical, which these boxes are designed to trap varroa down at the bottom, and then we have chemical. So we never get to the point where we need chemicals because we, as you can see, all of our honey is in the same box as the bees. So if we were to fumigate this box, then the honey frames would end up with that chemical. So that's why we just don't do it. Plus, like, even if the honey was on top, let's say we wanted to like take a chunk of this comb, say we wanted to eat this bee bread, well, if we had to use chemicals in here, there would be residues of the chemicals on these frames. So we don't use plastic foundation, so we can cut whatever we want out. If there's people that want to buy bee bread, then we'll just cut out bee bread for them. If people want honeycomb, then we cut out a comb of honey when it's ready. So we probably replace our queens more than most people because that's how they would do it naturally.
Okay, someone asked, don't bees make royal jelly when they need a new queen?
Yes. So they actually make royal jelly. This year we've seen them put royal jelly in all cells. I kind of want to give this frame to one of those hives. Okay. Let's give it to this one where we know there's without bees.
So we're moving this frame to, I about tripped, to another hive that doesn't have as many bees in it.
It's full of bees and pollen, so they'll be able to utilize.
We're just basically helping them out, giving them a little boost.
Did you see the pollen here?
Let me come over here.
See?
Oh, wow, yeah.
A lot of people will feed their bees, but then the bees will get used to you feeding them. So then they won't go out. All of this right here, this is all natural pollen. So that's the advantage that our bees have, is that they, it's a little rough on them when we first get here because they have to figure out where all the blooms are. But you can see the darker kind of grays are grasses. All the orange there would have been forbs. Usually white pollen is legumes. Isn't that amazing? So they're getting their own food.
Hopefully you guys can see the colors.
The other hive had 2 of these already, so we're removing it from them, so they have to go get more, if that makes sense. So we're helping this hive out with a little bit of food so they can build bigger numbers, and then that hive, we're taking away pollen so they have to go get more. And a lot of people think that's cruel, but they don't mind. Every day they calculate how much food they have, how many bees they have to feed, and the next morning they just get back to work. Our job, and you guys have done a great job here at planting things, our job is to plant the food for them to go get. So it's a longer game that way, if that makes sense. We could easily buy pollen patties, but on patties contain no pollen. So bees eat pollen. They know how to cook with pollen. They don't know how to cook with sugar syrup and brewer's yeast and egg yolk. So come on, girl.
Okay, somebody asked, how often do you harvest honey?
There's ranches where we harvest 4 or 5. Well, this will be first time we'll actually harvest 5 times. Here, I think we've only harvested twice.
Yep.
But it takes a couple years to build up the blooms. The first year we're kind of just figuring out what is available. So that was the first year 2 years ago here. This year we'll harvest here in July, and then based on what blooms from what you guys planted, we'll probably harvest again at the end of August. But there are places where we have more blooms, so we harvest more often. Usually about every 6 weeks we can harvest if there's blooms available. That's kind of their cycle. 6 weeks and they swarm. And that's just a function of babies being born.
Also, because we don't feed our bees, we have to make sure we leave them enough resources for the winter time. So we don't pull as much honey as some other places would, because we need to leave them. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. Okay, I think I'm all caught up. 57 people watching. Hello, Teresa. Thanks for hopping on. Jake said, good thing it's not hot out or anything.
Perfect bee weather.
Yeah. Okay, what is royal jelly?
Okay, so check it out. We got some right here. Can you zoom into here? See, really healthy hives will actually put royal jelly in the cells where they put the eggs in. So every single honeybee, if the hive is strong enough and if we have enough food, will get royal jelly in the cell, like to begin with. Especially, so these cells right here are all girl cells. These are all female cells. These up here are bigger. These are boy cells. So when you let the bees naturally draw their own comb, they usually put boy cells at the top, which they will use for honey storage, or they'll use them for boys. And then in the middle, they usually put worker cells for females. Every single female, if the hive is strong enough, will get royal jelly. You see inside there? See like the goop?
I can't tell if they can see it.
Flip it into the sun.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that would work actually.
So it's just like a milky yogurt substance. And every single, can you see it in there?
I don't know.
See, these girls are feeding right here.
Hopefully you guys can see it.
See this one right here and that one in there? They're feeding the larva. So they're in there feeding royal jelly. See that?
Yep, they
That
said they
one?
can see it.
Okay. So in a healthy hive, every single girl and boy bee gets royal jelly. That way, if they have to make a queen, they just have to give it more royal jelly. So the queens do not get nectar. After the first 3 days, after the eggs hatch into a little worm, then their fate is chosen, whether they're going to be worker bees or queen bees. So that's why everybody should get royal jelly to begin with, so everyone has the same chance at being a queen. And then nobody really knows how they choose their queens. Pretty easy.
Okay, now I'm gonna come back over here so I can catch up. Oh, we have boys. Let's look.
See these guys right here? So these small ones are worker bees, and these big ones are boy drones. See, these are young. See, they're fuzzy. So they're asking for food. They're going around asking for food. See? They're born out of here. Look at these boys about to be born. See that? So here they put a little bit of boys down here. See these cells? They're domed. They put boys all the way around. And the girls, see, they're flat. The boy cells are domed. They're a little bit bigger, wider, and taller. The boys here,
bigger.
the boys do not sting. They don't have stingers. That's it. That one's just barely born. So it'll need a day or two to finish off his wings. And then he'll just be gorging and eating and getting big and strong and then going on daily flights. These girls here, these ones will sting the snot out of you. See, they're much smaller. All right, don't go in the suit.
Hopefully she didn't.
All right.
Okay, step back here. Okay.
They call us the Ninja Queen. That's 3 times we haven't found her. Living on the wall. Wall runner.
Yeah, hopefully it's informative. Bees have been very fascinating to us. I mean, they were fascinating to me before we got hives, but especially now that we have hives. And just all the knowledge that Jorge has is great. Jake's homestead, where are you located? That will determine whether or not you can get one of these hives. Well, he was wondering cost, but it depends on where he lives, on if you can get there or not. You want to go to Florida? So these hives are specifically made by Jorge, so you kind of have to be local to Kansas, Nebraska area in order to.
I haven't tested them in Florida yet, so I'm not sure if these hives would work, if that makes sense. See all this nectar? See, in these hives they put the.
Oh yeah, we'll have to go over here.
We've designed these hives so that you don't have to lift, so that anybody, any age, could work these beehives. Yesterday we had kids that were 6, 7 years old working these beehives. Actually, even at night we were pulling frames with the kids. So there's no lifting of boxes on top of boxes, so that everyone can enjoy having bees.
Honey.
Yeah, so this is capped honey. See how capped honey is capped with a waxy substance? This right here, these are cocoons. These are female worker bees. But you can see they're starting to pack all of this around. As soon as these ones hatch, they'll backfill all this with honey. So in about 3 weeks' time, we'll have this all available to harvest. And this is a swarm he just caught this year.
Yep.
So, well, you guys trapped it out. But see, these cells are bigger. So this is what would be called like a boy comb or a drone comb. So in the spring, we take these, and they drew this themselves. Like, we didn't tell them to do it. This is just what they do naturally. We would take a frame like this and put it in the middle of the hive so that we can make more bees in the spring. In the summer, we'll put this towards the back so they can fill it with honey, and they can fill more honey into these bigger cells. We didn't see the queen again for a second time.
She's a mystery.
But we know she's there.
Okay. from Louisiana. Thanks for watching. We have 55 people watching. Yeah, it's kind of a odd time for you guys, but yeah, these hives are really nice to work with. Like Jorge said, you're not lifting boxes off of each other, so it's very convenient and, you know, not back-breaking to move stuff around. That's probably one of the biggest complaints with beekeepers is that they have to move their boxes, and these you don't.
And it costs too much to be a beekeeper.
And it costs too much.
Because they're always buying sugar syrup and corn patties and equipment they don't need, and buying bees and buying queens.
Yeah, we always have extra queens because I don't know why people.
One lady, she's like, all I do is spend money buying bees and buying queens and buying sugar syrup. I don't ever make any money. I'm gonna stop buying stuff.
Someone asked, okay, let me get this.
Oh, hold on. See this?
Oh.
Flip it over. There could be a virgin queen in here. There she is, see?
It's not a virgin queen, it's the queen.
They're trying to attack her. You see that? Might be another one. So, that's you don't see that every day. Ow, you little punk.
This is why you wear gloves, guys.
So, they're attacking this queen. So this queen either didn't found herself into this hive
Accidentally.
And they normally don't stray, but this is another reason why we mark them.
Maybe that queen is out of that hive.
No, because this one's marked.
Oh yeah, that one wasn't marked.
But you can't have queens go from one place to another. So we're gonna see if there's another queen in here. If they're trying to supersede her, there'll either be queen cells in here or there'll be another queen. I don't know if you got to see that balling. I should have probably.
We got it. We saw it.
You rarely get to see that. Let's see this one. This is why we keep track of what's what. See, there's supposed to be a blue queen in here.
That was a blue queen.
No, that's green. So,
Yep.
So this green queen came from another hive, and that's why they were attacking her. Wow, look at that. That's nectar. Turn over.
It's green. Right there. Green.
This is why we keep track of them.
Okay, let me come over here.
That's all nectar at the top there.
Whoop. Okay. Moving over. Whew. Guys, it's hot out here. You can't really tell. No, I can't tell.
Tilt it down.
Hopefully you guys can see it. It's just kind of shiny. I have my sunglasses on and my hood, so I can't see anything. Okay, so couple questions. Let me go back up here. Okay, get caught up.
This one is a double frame and this one's a double frame. This one doesn't have anything on the bottom. I'll put it in between.
Yeah, so in one of our videos, I shared that I planted a whole entire flower bed across from our house.
Look at, see that?
There she is.
So they're balling the other green queen.
Because she doesn't belong here. This is supposed to be a blue one.
Yep. So we need to figure out where this other girl came from.
Somebody asked, Jorge, do you have plans available for your hives?
No.
It's a mystery.
And as you can see, there's actually 4 different designs here. So every year,
Let me step back.
every year they could change a little bit, depending on what we can figure out. So
They used to be all red, and now they're white. Okay, back to the comments. Jake said, yeah, you stole her. Well, that's not very nice. Okay, so Alvin said these hives don't allow you to separate the honey from the brood. If you use the traditional boxes, you can get the honey from the hive without disturbing the queen and the brood.
That's true. We don't want them separated. We want everything all together.
More natural that way.
In the other way works just fine. The challenge we have with the other boxes is we don't want to be lifting boxes off the top to check the bottom. So these would be considered horizontal hives, not vertical hives. So they are a different style, and we don't mind them putting honey in places where there should be brood. These boxes are designed to have the honey in the back, just like the other style boxes would have it at the top. So we've just basically taken a vertical hive and turned it horizontally. So I think if we ran commercial bees, they probably would do better in the Langstroth boxes. But all of these bees are feral bees that come from trees or old buildings where everything's together. So I think they have a hard time getting through queen excluders and things like that. So that's why we don't use the other style boxes. But you can be successful with those. There's nothing wrong with them.
Chrissy said hello from Central Valley, California.
Oh.
Okay, they want to know if you left the green queen that you took out, will they kill her?
They'll ball her, yes.
Yep. Okay.
We need to figure out where she came from because she must have come out from one of these other three.
So she's marked, so she's from here. It's just in one of the boxes. We're just not sure which box. Okay, Susan, these hives are specific to
Midwest.
to the Midwest, to Napa bees. Jorge designed these boxes specifically for here.
If you want to learn more about his operation and his style, go to his Facebook page,
Yep.
Napa Bee Farms, where he talks a lot about natural beekeeping and input-free beekeeping.
Okay, so this is how they get in and out of the box.
What do you got?
There was another thing here.
No, there's a lot of heat.
Okay.
It's so funny to see you. See, this is what people don't believe me when I tell them, like, queens, they move. Hit it. Like,
So okay, question is that a double frame box, double insulated?
yes.
Is that for how cold it gets here?
No, it's for how hot it gets here. Bees do not die of cold. Bees die of dehydration. So it's insulated for the heat. I hope that makes sense.
That was your Florida man asking.
Yeah. So these actually, I'm kind of lying to you. These hives would probably do way better in Florida than they do here, because it gets hot and humid. So I've designed these to be essentially condensing units. So like a tree. So they would actually do much better in the heat. And we get dry heat here, and that's really where these boxes thrive, is in the summer, which is why we can make honey more often, because they're able to cycle the moisture out of the nectar faster in these hives.
Will we be showing the honey making process when it is time?
Yep.
Probably so. It'll probably be in July sometime. Hello from Reno.
Brought the extractor just in case today.
Somebody said, why would a queen leave her hive?
They do that
Referring
all the
to this
time.
one.
So think of like the bees that are in okay. hold on. This is
3.
green queen. We need to find a green queen here. So bees naturally leave their hive when the hive gets too full. That's what causes swarming. Swarming is a natural process of reducing numbers in a hive and expanding numbers of colonies. So to back up a little bit, bees do not make honey for humans. Bees make honey for themselves to make more hives. For the people in the Midwest, there's a lot of stores here called like Dollar Generals, and there's like little towns that have like 2. There's like mid-sized towns that have like 4 like Dollar Generals, and you're just like, what the heck? Because there's no grocery stores. So beehives are kind of like Dollar General stores in the Midwest, where their job is to just gorge enough honey and pollen to make another little Dollar General store. So all these right here are little Dollar General stores. So, I don't know. If you live in the Midwest, you'll get that.
Yep.
If you're from like the South or the East a little bit, they're like little Waffle Houses, you know. If you're from California, they're like In-N-Out burger chains. So that's all we're trying to do is these queens will leave whenever they have enough resources. So they'll go somewhere else. Queens will also take over other hives that are weak. See this right here? So for the person who had the question of like, why don't you have honey being at the top, you know, so that it's not in the same brood chamber? Well, like last year, we cut out this chunk of honey for ourselves. This whole frame was full of honey. So we just wanted I forget why we wanted a chunk of honey.
We did.
We did. So we just cut it out. Another reason why we don't use plastic foundation. So it's okay to have your honey separated from the rest, but it's just not what works for our bees. See how they're building more on this side than on this side, so we'll flip it around so they can finish it out.
What do you mark the queens with?
We have these blue water-based markers. The brand is a Posca brand. It's the ones we've always used. You can get them on Amazon. There's 5 different colors. Last year, 2 years ago was red. 2024 queens should be green, and 2025 queens are blue. Next year, there should be white and then yellow.
And then they rotate back.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get caught back up here.
Don't see her, huh?
Jorge's farm is called Napa Bees Farm on Facebook. Napa. Oh, I'm coming over here.
See, so
Ooh.
they requeened themselves. That's usually a process of eliminating varroa. See how this is nice and chewed out round? This one too. This one actually was stripped on the side. So this one was born first. This one they stripped out as she was coming out. So we should have a virgin queen here. And that queen over there came from this hive. So they're taking a brood break on their own. This is how feral bees manage their varroa counts. They reduce their baby population.
Finding virgin queens is a lot harder because they're similar to just a regular.
So now that we know she came from here, likely, we need to put her in a box, in a cage, before they find her again and try to
Offer. Okay, Alvin said, I have worked with bees here in Arizona and helped with the fire department with bee removal. Our state has been taken over by Africanized bees. Are you seeing any in Kansas?
No.
No, he says.
I went through the Arizona State University queen bee insemination program before it shut down. So I was certified through that. So I'm very familiar with what you're saying. And the reason why you would, let me get some bees out here. Look at all this. See all this? Look at all this pollen.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
Here are some yellows and some oranges. This is how you get stung right here.
He knows.
Okay, so to finish that thought, in Arizona, in Texas, in Florida, even for the Florida Jake, you you have the unique opportunity to host feral Africanized honeybees, just because there's so many of them. Here in Kansas, we don't have to do that, but in those states, it is advised to buy queens that are actually artificially inseminated so that you know you don't have the Africanized genetics. In 2014, there was an article. It's the only thing I've ever found here in Kansas where somebody got attacked at the Kansas Zoo. And they sent the bees off after they found the swarm, and they did deem them to be Africanized. So that would be, we're about the same kind of height, latitude-wise, but they would be further east, and they get a lot warmer. So places like Kansas City could possibly have them. I haven't heard of anybody else getting attacked or anything like that, but
We lost you. I gotta cool off the phone for a minute. It's still connected. Yeah.
People still watching?
Yeah, there's 31.
If you turn the camera to you.
Hello.
Explain what we're doing.
Okay. Hopefully you all can hear me. I guess let me know if you can hear me because I'm connected to Luke's truck, so. Oh. Okay, let me know if you can hear me or not. Hear you? Okay, perfect. Let me get through some of the questions. I gotta let the phone cool off. It did the too hot thing. It's too hot outside. Okay. Some of these questions, Luke and Jorge might have to come back and answer better than I can. Yeah, so Jorge was originally from California, and so he worked a lot with bees and specifically queens down there in California. So I'm sure they would do great in the almond fields. California has Dollar General stores. That's funny. They're everywhere. You drive through a town and you're like, oh, there's Dollar General, of course. Susan, bees swarm, splitting hives help keep the swarm out. Yes, so that's why we split our hives. When we do is because we don't want them to swarm. So that's why we go through our hives every 2 weeks, just to make sure that we have a queen and that everything is going good and that we don't need to split them because we don't want them to swarm. So in our hives, we don't use anything. We let our bees make their own comb. We don't use plastic. We don't use wire. We don't use anything like that. We let them build their own comb. If they're okay, so I should say if we catch a swarm and it's a smaller swarm, then we will put frames in there that already have comb on it. But if it's a strong hive, we're going to let them build their own. And we have more, this year we have more frames with already built comb. But like when we started 2 years ago, they had to start from scratch because we didn't have anything. So they had to build their own comb. But we don't want to have any sort of plastics or anything like that in our hive because we try to go as natural as possible. And everybody said buffering. Yeah, sorry. Ah. Okay. I think. Oh, full compress for your phone? That's a good idea, actually. Might do that. Barbie, have you lost weight? If you're referring to me, yes, I have. Thank you for noticing. How did we all meet Jorge? So the Amish auction that we go to, Jorge actually came up to me and was asking about some quail that we had brought. And so I got to talking to him about that. And then Luke's a talker, so he just started talking to him, and we realized that he had extreme knowledge. I'm talking, this guy is like a bee genius. Just go to his Facebook page and learn from him. If you're from the Midwest, I highly encourage, if you want to get into bees, to contact him because he is just a wealth of knowledge. It is like unbelievable. So anyway, we got to talking, and then Luke and I had said, oh, we wanted to have bees on the farm, and then Luke gave me a hive for Christmas one year. So then it's just kind of escalated. We became really good friends with Jorge. He helps us with our butcher classes. We talk to him on a daily basis. He spends holidays with us, everything. So just became a really great friend for us. And like I said, just extremely knowledgeable. Like, it's crazy how much he knows about bees. So it's fantastic. Yes, you can make mead from honey. We actually had somebody that, I don't remember who it was, but they wanted to make mead from honey. Okay, I think the phone is cool off enough, so I'm gonna go back out there so that way they can answer some of these questions that I can't answer. And I got to sit in the air conditioning for a minute because I was getting hot. Okay, let's go back out. Hopefully, I guess we'll figure out if we can. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. So enjoy the sky. How do I disconnect it from the truck? It says it's still connected to the truck. No sound still. May have screwed this one up.
Can you text into the group?
Like your family?
No, just text.
Here?
Add into the chat. No.
Oh,
Sorry.
I can hear you now. Yay! Okay. Sorry. Okay, turning back around. Now we're going over here. I'll stand in the shade this time so we don't get too hot.
Well, we
What'd we?
had a frame collapse.
Oh no, frame collapsed.
We set it in the sun. It got too hot.
That's a bummer.
Because it's full of nectar and honey.
So it's heavy because it's full of stuff. So we're gonna use some rubber bands, try to get it fixed back up.
No problem, fan.
Okay, let me go back up and catch some comments I did not know how to answer. I think we've all lost 5 pounds in sweat today. 5 pounds in sweat.
I know I'm getting moist.
Yeah. Okay. Susan, I'll have to go find you. Susan Soaps. I'll go find you on YouTube and like your channel. Subscribe, I guess, not like. Okay. Slowly getting caught up, guys. Phone got too hot. Yep. Okay, now we're good. So. What do you do about foul brood and mites?
We don't, for foul brood, we do not buy used equipment from other beekeepers. We do not buy bees from other beekeepers that might have it. We do not buy wax from other beekeepers who might have it. Foul brood is a condition, is a bacterial problem that you can cause by having sick bees, by feeding them incomplete raw food like sugar syrup. So you can cause that. So we don't do any feeding of that kind. Some of the pollen patties have been found to have bacteria and yeast that can cause foul brood. So we don't feed our bees that stuff either. And it's not something that somebody's doing on purpose. It's a manufactured product that, you know, is not food grade. It's not human consumption grade. That, I mean, you guys get chicken food that, you know, that comes. It's spoiling, not good. Maybe turning, maybe fermenting, maybe rotting.
We don't. We buy from my local food.
That's right. But
There's our pitch. Oh, gosh, dang it. Okay, these guys are really mad. Oh. Sorry, guys. No, I got 2. Yeah, twice. On my finger. Ah! And my finger. Oh.
why don't you put gloves on?
Because I can't hold a phone and wear gloves. Sorry, guys.
What'd you do?
They're angry.
This is the hive that was spicy when I opened it. It has all the ants.
I don't have my gloves on and I got stung.
Stay over here.
Yeah, I'm staying over here. Sorry for the, the motion sickness trauma. Okay, welcome from Florida. Okay, sound is back.
And I was outside the brewery room and my camera was inside. Gunshot and you screamed.
Okay, I think I'm. There you go. Color, okay. Welcome, Sam.
You should be fine now.
Yeah, now that my finger's sore in my hand.
I just wanted to make sure your fingers swole so you couldn't take your wedding ring off.
A good thing I got my rubber one on. I don't think you can see it. I don't know. Let me go in the sun. Nope.
We have honey.
Got right there. Stung. And right there. Stung. It's fine. It'll be fine. It just hurts, but it'll be okay. Did upset the geese. Okay, do you burn the hive if they get foul brood?
If we had foul brood, yes, we would burn the whole hive.
Burn it to the ground.
That's the only remedy for both European and American foul brood, even though they will tell you that you can treat them with antibiotics. But that is all. The foul brood is a function of feeding unnatural foods and them getting dysentery. So it's very preventable by not feeding sugar syrup, pollen patties. So, oh, you can show them this.
From a distance.
Get close. It's fine now.
That's all honey on the top.
Yep.
See, this is capped honey. They're capping it here. They're finishing off their winter stores. These are boys. These are girls. This is boy brood. Whenever they're done raising boys, they'll fill the cells with honey. So a lot of people don't like drone comb, but we like it because it takes less wax to make a drone comb than it does worker comb. So there's a balance, and they figure it out for us. They were just mad because we burned on top.
Oh, well, you could have warned me. Look at my finger. Ow. No.
That's a fly.
I'm traumatized now.
Yeah, I saw it was a fly. I'm like, what is this?
Okay, somebody said wires would help with the comb falling off.
Yeah,
Then we can't cut comb out necessarily.
and we do have the where we can put the wires, but we've also found that the wires, well, it's just more work to use them. But yes, thank you very much for the. We understand that wires and plastic foundation would prevent some of our comb collapsing. That thing is heavy. It's got some honey. Look at all these muscles pulling out.
Is it best to buy existing hive or start with a queen and a few bees?
Start with a swarm.
Start with a swarm. Luke says catch a swarm. That's what, well, almost all of these.
All of them are.
Yeah.
Are swarms or splits. Well, these are all swarms. But
So, here's the thing. If you want to get into beekeeping, you got it?
Yeah.
Put it on the ground. If you want to get into beekeeping, you should really start with planting perennial bushes and trees on your house. And at the same time, you can put up a box for bees to move in. So while you're waiting for them to show up in your backyard, that's probably the best way to get started. And if they show up in year one, then that means that you probably have enough blooms, you know, in the 1 mile around your house for them to support themselves. Year two, you'll want to just augment your flower, your bee buffet for them. But that would be the best way.
You have to have golden corral buffet, not just like a little buffet.
Yeah. And you guys planted how many? 600 trees?
400 trees.
they're 100 of them.
Barbie Honey says the stuff you guys do for likes. Yep.
Look at her. She's right here.
I'll come over.
So we need to remove her.
Where'd she go?
We need to
Oh,
remove
there.
her and
Oh,
mark
she's
her.
big. Where'd she go?
Your side.
So she's coming back.
So, see, that's 1, 2, 3 frames of capped brood already.
I don't think you can see her very well. She's massive though. Okay, I'm gonna step back.
We'll probably take her to that first hive.
I love honey. You're scared of bees. Well, you just kind of got to get over the fear of
Walmart
bees.
sells honey.
Yeah.
Buy from a local beekeeper. Don't buy your honey at Walmart.
Oh, Paul said workman's comp, steak dinner for compensation. Yes, please.
Mexican.
He said Mexican. He already told me he was taking me for Mexican earlier. So I guess Mexican. We eat Mexican almost every Sunday. Okay, what is foul brood? Did you explain that before I got stung?
It's a bacterial disease that weakens baby bees. So it can affect the bees to make them not hatch. Holy cow.
Wow.
Look at all these bees.
Ooh.
Look at this down here.
Go to the other side.
Coming around, coming around. This is our OG hive.
We'll have honey here in the next 2 weeks.
It always does so well.
Well, it's just got so much comb that it's built out over the last 2 weeks.
Okay, do you ever get Varroa mites? I always have a hard time saying that.
No.
No, we don't.
See, we're gonna do a Varroa treatment right now. We have a queen here. There's 1 billion little bees about to hatch with Varroa. They can only go into other cells with baby bees. So by us removing this queen, there's gonna be no eggs for them to go into. So the Varroa will starve out. They'll reduce the numbers. That's how we get rid of Varroa. So we've already changed this queen out one time this year. She's a blue queen now. We're gonna pull her again. We're gonna give her to another hive.
Everybody says I'm a trooper. So this is actually only the second and third time I've been stung. The first time a bee got in my jacket and it stung my shoulder, and that was only like a month ago. But before these experiences, I've never actually been stung. So I'm not allergic, luckily. Okay, so Sam, I know you jumped on a little bit late. So these aren't your typical hives, like a Langstroth or something like that. So the frames are doubles, and these hives are made specific for the Midwest. They are designed by Jorge from Napa Bees, which is who's down there helping Luke. And so they're not like a typical box, like you don't add boxes on top. So when the hive gets full, then we address things. When he comes back, I'll go through each one of your questions with him and he can answer it for you. But, sorry, my finger hurts, so I got distracted. So anyway, these are just, they're not like a normal hive. You don't just keep stacking on top of each other. And then we don't have queen excluders because everything is in one box. So they just took a frame out of here, but you have your brood and everything in one box. I'm gonna step back because they're not happy. Nope. 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 Sorry, guys. Ah! Ah! There's one bee attacking me. Yeah, well, I would prefer it didn't sting at all. I think it's the phone.
That's coming out for me now.
I think it's because you took that frame. Okay, let me stand back here.
Let me smoke you down.
Yeah, please do. Okay. I have some questions when you guys come back. They'll come back in a second. Yeah, you can hear the bees. That one was like straight attacking the phone. They're angry. This box is always a little bit spicy. So I don't know. It's our original hive, but I don't know why. They're always just a little temperamental. It's a very good hive. They're very strong, I will say that. So now I'm just waiting for them to come back this way, and then we'll go through all of the questions that you guys have. But if you have any other questions while we're waiting, feel free to comment. My finger really hurts, guys. You can kind of see it. It's all swollen. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. It'll be a fun story to tell.
We'll have honey in 16 days.
What'd you say?
We'll have honey in 16 days.
He said we'll have honey in 16 days. How does Luke know all this stuff? Just wing it until he finds a Jorge. Well, we actually found Jorge before we got our bees, but you know, the best place to find education when you need to learn is YouTube, right? So that's what we did. We went to YouTube and started learning about bees, and then we got our first hive, which is this one. And then when you purchase the hive from Jorge, then it comes with a lifetime of him coming and teaching you and going through your boxes with you and all of that. So he has been our mentor for the last roughly 3 years, and we go through the boxes every 2 weeks, just like we're doing right now. Sometimes we do them at night, sometimes we do them in the morning, sometimes we do them in the heat of the day, like we are now. So it just kind of depends. Oh, Jorge probably is getting stung, but he's just tougher than I am. Are you getting stung? He said he's been stung 3 times already. But he does this all the time without gloves, so he's more used to it than I am. He gets stung every day. So he's just used to it. If you missed it, this is only my 2nd and 3rd time to be stung. So it's still kind of surprising when it happens.
I don't wear gloves so I can grab the queens. I don't like getting stung. If you've ever worked a beehive and you see a queen, then you go to grab your catcher and you look back, she's gone. So
yep, it's true.
You have to grab her when you can.
Can you tell me if you guys can hear him? Because I want to ask these questions, but I don't want to get close, so. You can see all the bees flying around. Okay. Okay, perfect. So let me go back up to these questions since you can hear them. I want to go to Sam's questions. Okay, so Sam has some questions. The first one is, are you actively stopping your bees swarm?
We've never had one of our bees swarm.
We'll split them before they get to that point.
Yep.
So like right here, if we would have left the queen, they have enough resources where they would have swarmed in the next week. That's why we took her away. That provides our varroa treatment, just like they would in the wild. So we're not destroying queen cells, we're not caging the queen, we're not doing any of the silly anti-swarming techniques that you guys are being taught. We are doing what they would do naturally, which is create a new hive.
Okay, the next question is, Oh, how many boxes can you add on those hives? But I already told him that we can't add to the top. And then, are you using queen excluders above above the brood boxes?
This is only one box. Yeah.
Yep, and I explained that. Would 10 acres of alfalfa be good for bees?
1 acre.
1
Half
acre would be
an
good.
acre of alfalfa. You can maintain a couple hives on a half an acre of alfalfa if you let it flower. If you let it flower. Oh shit! There's these girls getting ahead.
We're planting 10 acres of alfalfa this fall.
Do we have problems with wax moths?
So we are the wax moths. So like, one of the reasons why we don't have top boxes and bottom boxes, we have all the same style cloth or the same style frame. As the frames get older, we move them towards the back where they'll put the honey into. And once we spin the honey here in the next couple of weeks, we'll show you, we'll cut out all the old comb and then the wax moth don't come. So we don't have issues with wax moth because we become the wax moths. The bees will allow the wax moth to come in because they want to destroy the oldest comb. So we just take the place of the wax moth.
What wood do you use in the smoker?
We use burlap, grasses, hemp, rosemary. So any weed that we see, we'll dry it in little bundles, and then we just use a burlap sack and put the weed inside, and then we smoke them. Not weed like you guys are thinking. Weeds.
How much more do y'all need to do with the hives today? We're on the last hive, right? Last one, Jake. Hey, welcome, Eric. Sam said, how do you get frames of honey without brood in them?
See? Weeds. This is what we burn.
Did you hear the question? Did you hear the question?
Say it again.
How do you get frames of honey without brood in them?
The box is designed so that the honey is put all the way in the back. So if you come close, you'll see this last frame we put. If you pull this last frame, it'll be mostly honey.
You need to pull it out.
Yeah. So the way...
It's going to be a jungle. It's going to fall apart here.
Oh.
Starting to fall apart.
So right now, there's brood here and honey at the top. Once we remove the queen from this box like we did there, when all of this hatches, they'll fill it with honey. So there won't be any brood when we actually pull this in 2 weeks. So over there, we just pulled the queen. Here we have to pull the queen. But that's how we end up with frames with just honey. We have to remove the queen for a cycle, and then there won't be any brood, just honey.
Now I'm stepping back over in the shade because the phone's getting hot again. If you want to contact Jorge, you can contact him on Facebook, Napa Bees Farm. It's NAPA Bees Farm. North American Pollinator Alliance. Pine needles in the smoker. Ooh, I bet that smells amazing.
Yeah, but it burns really hot. Pine needles burn really hot. So it'll irritate the bees.
Yes, everyone please subscribe. Eric's pumping us. Subscribe! His username is Eric. Yeah, Luke's phone overheated. That's why it ended. But then I went into the truck and cooled her off. So now we're back live in action, but it's getting hot again. Trying to stay in the shade a little bit more this time. Jake says to buy a better phone. Actually, Jake, you should be telling me to buy Luke a better phone. I'm the one that does all that. You don't pick out your new phones. I do. Pick them out for you. Welcome, welcome from Canton, Georgia. Ah, what are we doing?
Honey,
Whoa,
freaking
can we
fly.
see? Get off of there. I don't know if you guys can see very well.
Keep in the shade.
Keeping it in the shade, dang fly. Holy smokes, look at that. Can I can't zoom in, I only have one hand now. Maybe I can hold it like this. Oh yeah, look. Why didn't I know about the zoom feature sooner? I could have been hanging out back here. Sorry this live is kind of long, but we have lots of hives to go through. Ooh, squished a fly. Yes, the sunflowers will help. That's why we planted them. Everything that we've been planting should help with honey. Maybe not this year, but will for sure in the future. Christy, if you're new here, Jake's not actually our son, but we claim him. Yeah, so Christy's pumping up Jake's boat. We have to hit 100,000 subscribers before we can get Jake a boat. Hmm? 100,000. We're like 85,000 away, 84,000, something like that. They're screwed into the A-frame on the side with 2 screws on each side. And then there's, in the front, you can kind of tell there's a 2x4 that they set on. And then they have the bottom, so we haven't dropped out right now because it's so hot. Carissa, yes. It is very hot outside. And we still have to do chores after this. But during the summertime when it's hot out, we wait until a little bit cooler in the evenings before we feed everything. When when Luke was trying to get the YouTube live going, Jorge mentioned it's awful quiet on the farm today. And I said, yeah, it is, because all the animals are just chilling. They're not out doing much today. Sweating, guys. It's so hot. It's like 100 degrees. Yeah, our goal is hopefully to hit 100,000 by the end of the year. We'll see. Thanks for supporting us. Share with all your friends, family. We try to keep things real and exciting around here. Closing up shop. You dropped some comb. Now it's dirty.
Alright. Are we done? Any final takes, Jorge?
Yeah. Get yourself a bee mentor. And if she's telling you, you have to feed. You have to use poison in your hives. Find another one.
Find a beekeeper that's input free. So, anyway, how long are we at?
We're at 96 minutes.
Alright, so we're over an hour. How many people are watching still?
49.
Hot damn. The 49 of you watching, I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys learned something about bees today. We're going to have bee content in Monday's video tomorrow. Went to the auction, but the first part of that video we caught another swarm, moved it into a different box at a different apiary. And but yeah, there's going to be bee content all the time, so get used to it.
The phone's sliding out of my hand. Can you take this? Thanks. Okay, there we go.
But other than that, thank you guys for watching. If you got questions, I don't answer as many live questions after it's posted, but hopefully we answered enough for you to get an idea of how we beekeep and how these boxes work. But if you're in Kansas area and you want to partner up with Napa Bees to have hives on your property, obviously not every property is suitable for bees, so that's a conversation between you guys. But anyway, save the humans, not the bees.
Bees are doing fine.
Bees are fine.
Humans are dying of
Yeah.
heat right
Humans
now.
are the problem, not the bees. We've caught, I think, 9 swarms this year, so there's plenty of bees. But that's all we have for today. Tune in to the rest of this week's videos. We got incubator content coming. We got auction videos coming. I don't know what else. Monday's video. We went to a longhorn auction yesterday. That's Wednesday's video. Anyway, I'm rambling. We love you guys. Don't haggle with your honey supplier. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
How do I end this? Sorry guys, we gotta end it.